Hello everybody, I'm SolitaryFalcon, and today I'll be ranking every level in LEGO Batman the video game from worst to best. Before I begin, I will not be including the 2 bonus levels and will only be focusing on the 30 story levels, covering both the hero and villain missions. So I'll be ranking these levels based on the overall design of those levels, the enjoyability and replayability these levels have, alongside my own personal opinion. Do let me know in the comments which level is your favourite, and if you've enjoyed today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want more LEGO content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Right then, let's get into it. At number 30, and the worst level in LEGO Batman, is Vehicle Level, and out of the 5 vehicle missions in the game, I've chosen Flight of the Bat. Now I do think that the vehicle levels in LEGO Batman are a lot better than the ones we got in LEGO Stars The Complete Saga, especially Gunship Cavalry, but Flight of the Bat can get pretty annoying. So it follows the same formula as most vehicle levels, where you have to collect the purple torpedoes alongside towing the bombs to destroy the silver objects, and you do this throughout the level, which can get boring very quickly. But the worst part of this level is the boss fight with Scarecrow. Now this took me ages, as I had no idea what to do and ended up flying around. So you have to use the Batcopter to hook onto the boss, exactly as you do with the bombs, then switch to the Batwing to fire the torpedoes. But there are no indicators, and if you are like me and play this on single player, it can get frustrating switching between characters. Luckily the boss only has 3 hearts, so the worst level in the game has to go to Flight of the Bat. At number 29 is not a vehicle mission, but the final level of Chapter 2, Penguin's Lair. So Chapter 2 of the hero missions is probably the weakest of the 3 hero chapters, and Penguin's Lair is disappointing for a final level. So the level is quite bland, as it only has 2 main areas. At the start, you are outside in the snowy environment as you use Batman's glide suit and Robin's water suit to get across the ice. You also have to deal with a few enemies, and I felt that the puzzles are not as fun compared to the other levels. The final area sees you fight Penguin and Catwoman, although Catwoman is more of a nuisance than anything. So all you have to do is direct the penguins towards the objects, and then Penguin starts flying around, which is the only highlight of this level. And I do like the boss fight, but compared to the other final bosses in the game, it is by far the weakest, and the level is quite forgettable, and that is why Penguin's Lair is this far down. At number 28 is Biplane Blast, and I promise not all the vehicle missions are bad. Biplane Blast is an exact copy of Flight of the Bat, and doesn't add anything new. From Joker's helicopter going around blowing up the silver objects, to Scarecrow's biplane using the torpedoes in the same way as the Batwing, except this one has a different colour. The only difference between the 2 levels is the boss battle. So in this level you face the police battle helicopter, which is not as annoying as Scarecrow, but I have to be honest, I completely forgot this boss even existed. So you have to use Joker to destroy a silver object that reveals a turret, before switching to the Scarecrow, who fires a torpedo which attacks the boss. And Biplane Blast is easily forgotten and doesn't add anything new, but it is better than Flight of the Bat. At number 27 is Joker's home turf. Now when I did my video on the worst levels in LEGO Batman, a few of you said this was one of the worst, and I agree with you. The environment at Ace Chemicals is not bad, but it doesn't match the theme I have for the Mad Hatter. Also, it takes a long time to complete some of the puzzles. The one that stands out for me is when you get inside the factory and have to build and drive the vehicle to the other side of the room. This felt like it went on for ages. The Mad Hatter boss fight is not too bad, where you have to build ramps to force Mad Hatter from his platform, and I do like when you have to fight your partner who gets hypnotised by the Hatter. But it's not one of the most iconic bosses in the game. If the environment was more of an Alice in Wonderland theme, then this would be a good level, but Joker's home turf is too long and not a good level. At number 26 is possibly one of the hardest levels in the game, Arctic World. Now we all know why this level is the hardest, but we'll get to that shortly. The level is much better than Penguin's Lair, with the area not looking as bland, and the puzzles are pretty solid, but mainly the ones where you have to use Penguin. And once you get inside, there are a few enemies for you to fight. But the level is this far low for the dreaded ice slide, so you have to go through 5 flags in order to get the mini kit. But if you miss just one, you have to restart the level all over again, because this was the time where there were no checkpoints. This took me ages to do, and replaying this level definitely brought back some dark memories. The level is not too bad, but getting that mini kit is why Arctic World is this far down the list. At number 25 is Breaking Blocks. This level falls into the same issue as Joker's home turf, where it takes a long time to complete. The opening section certainly drags as you fight wave after wave of enemies while trying to do the puzzles. Oh, and there is a helicopter that attacks you. Luckily, you can control this helicopter to do the same damage to your enemies. This opening section alone is incredibly annoying and way too long for me. The rest of the level is not too bad, with some good puzzles, although you tend to use Two-Face to avoid the toxins. The end of the level does see you control a giant robot, but the area is too small to move around, and there is another level which improves on the giant mech. Breaking Blocks suffers from being too long and forgotten by much better villain levels. At number 24 is Harbouring a Grudge. So this vehicle level does score points from being set on the seas of Gotham and not having to tow bombs. In the story mode, that is. Penguin Submarine is probably one of the best vehicles in the game, as not only can you use torpedoes, but it can also go underwater. The level is not hard to complete, as you have to push these buttons in order to progress to the next section, while dealing with a few enemies along the way. Although, trying to get that last button in the corner while avoiding the rocket took me a while to complete. The boss battle is probably the weakest element of the level, as all you have to do is use the torpedoes. It's that simple. Harbouring a Grudge is not the worst vehicle mission, but for me it is too short of a level and the boss battle is very weak. At number 23 is Two-Face Chase. The only vehicle mission where you control the Batmobile is okay. All you have to do is shoot at the enemies and then tow them to the bat signal. I do really enjoy using the Batmobile, and the level is really good for collecting studs, especially if you have the multipliers. But the level suffers from repeating itself, which can make it quite boring. The final section sees you face Two-Face's truck, and again, all you do is shoot at the boss and then tow him. I will say Two-Face Chase is one of the better vehicle missions in the game, but it feels very repetitive, and that is what drags this level down. At number 22 is Dying of Laughter. So the final villain mission suffers from being weaker from its hero counterpart. Joker and Harley Quinn are great characters, and the level showcases them really well, especially Harley Quinn. The environment is perfect with its cathedral setting, but it doesn't add anything new, and the final area is the weakest part. Other than the odd enemies showing up, all you are doing is completing puzzles to build these electric poles. And to say that this is the final mission is massively disappointing. It feels like it needs a boss fight to improve the level, but Dying of Laughter is a disappointing end to the villain levels. At number 21 is the Joker's masterpiece. The museum is definitely a throwback to the Tim Burton film, and I really like how it captures some of the artwork. The level is not too bad, with a good balance of enemies and puzzles, and using Scarecrow's fear toxin on the enemies is really fun to use. The level suffers from most of the puzzles requiring you to use Joker, as he is the only one who can avoid toxins, and I still do not get to this day why Scarecrow is not immune to toxins. I will say that this is a solid level. It's not memorable, but it is fun to play through. At number 20 is Bat Boat Battle. I will say both levels where you are on the seas of Gotham are much better than the flying missions. The environment is pretty good, and the level works on co-op play, where you and your partner have to work together to solve the puzzles, either using Batman to destroy silver objects or Robin with his torpedoes. The final boss with Penguin Submarine has something we haven't seen in LEGO games. So, you have to use the Bat Boat to hook the bombs to destroy the submarine. But, you have to do this in a specific order, and I can't recall too many boss fights in LEGO games where you have to fight a boss in this way. And that is what puts Bat Boat Battle high on this list, and for me, this is the best vehicle mission in the game. At number 19 is A Surprise for the Commissioner. The theme park atmosphere is incredible. Joker and Harley Quinn are phenomenal characters. The puzzles are pretty good, and there are tons of enemies for you to fight. This level works really well in co-op play, so why have I rated it this low? Well, it all comes down to the boss battle with Commissioner Gordon. The fight is pretty decent until he runs away and calls in a police truck, and to destroy it, you have to use the crane to drop these bombs, and it takes ages to move this crane, and sometimes the bombs don't detonate first time, so you have to keep repeating yourself until it destroys. It can be annoying moving the crane, and missing the bomb by a small margin, it definitely is not easy to use. A Surprise for the Commissioner is a good level, but that boss fight alone puts this level far down. At number 18 is Under the City. I wasn't a massive fan of the sewer missions, but I do like how they change the environment from the streets of Gotham to the sewers. This level has tons of puzzles for you to do, and is the first time we are introduced to Robin's water suit, which makes a change. The problem this level has is that it doesn't have anything memorable, and most of the puzzles require you to constantly switch between different suits, especially in one area where you have to use Batman's glide suit and demolition suit. The final boss with Killer Croc is also quite weak compared to some of the other bosses. All you have to do is attack him and wait for him to throw objects, which is not as fun as the other villain bosses. Under the City is okay, but suffers from a weak boss fight. At number 17 is A Daring Rescue. So whereas Under the City has some weak puzzles, A Daring Rescue improves on this. One of these puzzles are when you have to navigate the multicolored tubes, which has a Mario vibe to it. Both Killer Croc and Penguin are utilised very well in this level, whether that is using Killer Croc's super strength or Penguin's bombs. The standout moment of this level is when you get to build the giant crocodile and use it on your enemies. That is a true highlight. The level adds another layer by having you go inside the police station with lots of enemies to fight, and this makes it an even better level as it connects both sections together. A Daring Rescue is a well-rounded level with great puzzles and tons of enemies for you to fight. At number 16 is Rocking the Docks. What makes this level stand out for me is the environment. This area is completely isolated and only shows up in the background of the water levels. Bane and Penguin are a great partnership like Killer Croc, as you have Bane with his super strength picking objects and taking out enemies, while Penguin glides all over the place dropping penguin bombs. I do like the puzzles, especially the ones that require Penguin to glide on the rooftops. The problem this level has is that it doesn't have any standout moments and is quite a long level. Also, Bane is the only character in the console version not to have a boss battle, which is a shame as many people have rated the DS version. Rocking the Docks is a solid level but gets forgotten by better levels. We are halfway through the list, and at number 15 is The Riddler Makes a Withdrawal. The first villain mission you play is a solid start to the chapter. It is great to see the reverse of the hero missions done this way, and the level is well balanced with puzzles and enemies, whether that's you playing as Clayface for his super strength and high jump, or Riddler with his mind control and unique fighting style. The puzzles are pretty good, complementing both characters, and I do like how the end section is you breaking into the bank, which perfectly sets up the first hero level in the game. The Riddler makes a withdrawal is a solid start for the villain missions. At number 14 is There She Goes Again. This level stands out by switching from the streets of Gotham to the rooftops. The puzzles work really well as you go through using the different suits, as you and your partner have to work together, so it is a great level for co-op play, whether that is Batman gliding over the rooftops or Robin using his magnet suit. The level really does showcase the abilities of the suits to great effect. The final boss fight with Catwoman is a slight negative on this level and can get pretty annoying. So, you have to try and hit her, but she keeps jumping to different areas, which does drag the boss fight out, alongside having to fight a few enemies. And I was asked why not use a bat rank on Catwoman on my ranking all villain bosses, and it simply doesn't work. Believe me, I tried. Overall, this level is pretty good. It's a shame Catwoman is an annoying boss. At number 13 is an enterprising theft. This level is well rounded with its puzzles and enemies. It starts off slow, but it gets better as you progress. The area where you fill the room with toxin and have Two-Face swimming around is quite fun, but can someone explain why Two-Face is immune to toxins but my guy Scarecrow isn't? I don't get it. The highlights for me are when you are building the two robots. The first is when you are controlling the scientist and make the robot walk through the lasers. The second is at the end of the level where you use the robot to destroy the generators. And I think this level overshadows breaking blocks with much better puzzles and all-round gameplay. And enterprising theft is among the better villain levels. At number 12 is the very first level of the game. You Can Bank on Batman. This level holds a special place for me, as I always get nostalgia playing through it, from fighting the tons of enemies in the streets of Gotham, to walking on the tightropes with that iconic sound, and introducing us to the different suits. And these suits have become iconic to the LEGO Batman series, and I enjoy using them in all of the games, even LEGO Batman 3. The final boss fight with Clayface is simple compared to the other bosses, but it remains memorable, and I guarantee every single one of you knows You Can Bank on Batman off by heart, and it remains one of the iconic opening levels to any LEGO game. At number 11, and just missing out on the top 10, is Green Fingers. Poison Ivy is without doubt one of the most powerful characters in the game, and this level really showcases her abilities, from walking through toxins, creating plants, and going around attacking enemies with a poison spray and her iconic Kiss of Death. These are so much fun to use. The puzzles are pretty good, but who can forget building and controlling the giant plant? This was definitely the highlight of this level, as you go around destroying everything, including enemies. And the botanical gardens is such an amazing environment, especially as you progress through the level. The only negative is the final section can be difficult to navigate with the camera angle, and the enemies constantly flooding in as you try to do the puzzle. But Green Fingers is a good level, and Poison Ivy is a great character. Into the top 10 now, and the next level is The Lure of the Night. One of the great things about the first LEGO Batman game is Killer Moth. They captured him really well, and I love his animations. The Lure of the Night has so many great areas throughout, from the open world between the police and the henchmen to the park section. The standouts of this level is that you get to build two vehicles. The first is the helicopter, which destroys anything, including enemies, and is much more fun than the two flying vehicle levels. And what makes this level stand out is that it tries to be different from other locations, and doesn't simply recreate the streets of Gotham as we've seen previously. The final area sees you build the giant Joker mech, and this improves on what we got in Breaking Blocks, with it not being limited to a small space to move, and fighting the police gives this level extra points. The Lure of the Night is a great level and makes Killer Moth stand out in the light. At number 9 is Little Fun at the Big Top. The hero version of the villain level, a surprise for the Commissioner, is a significant improvement. As the saying goes, originals are often the best. The abandoned theme park is a great environment, and this level has some good puzzles with tons of enemies throughout. But what I like about this level is you get to explore the different themes in both the story and free play, from the teacups to the slide to the bumper cars. The final boss with Harley Quinn can get annoying, as all you do is chase her around and around and around. When she stops, you get to hit her and have to repeat this over and over again. There are a few enemies thrown into the mix, and looking back on it, the boss battle is not bad, but it's just annoying. Little Fun at the Big Top is a pretty good level with a great background and setting. At number 8 is the final hero mission, to the top of the tower. This level stands out as having not one, not two, but 3 bosses in one level. Starting outside the cathedral is where the first boss comes after completing a few puzzles. Harley Quinn shows up and all you have to do is spray her with a water cannon. Quite simple really. What makes this level stand out is the environment inside the cathedral looks incredible, as it certainly draws inspiration from Tim Burton's film. The last 2 bosses take place in the final area, where once you complete some puzzles by knocking Joker and Harley Quinn out of the bells, the Joker calls in a helicopter, where we get the return of the water cannon. This boss can be annoying as you have to wait for the helicopter to turn up so that you can shoot at it, and once you've taken him out, you then face the Joker, who starts electrocuting your partner, so you have to switch characters to take him out. And this always reminds me of the boss battle with the Emperor in LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. So much nostalgia. And don't forget about the final cutscene with Batman striking a pose as he commands his bats. To the top of the tower is a great level to end the hero missions. At number 7 is A Poisonous Appointment. The Botanical Gardens is an incredible location in both hero and villain missions. This level introduces Batman's sonic suit and Robin's vacuum suit, which I think adds another dimension to the game. Oh, and the heat suit, which is pretty useless. The puzzles utilise the suits really well, from Batman destroying glass in order to progress to the next area, or Robin collecting pieces to destroy a plant and building other things. The environment is definitely the highlight as it captures the subdued toxic feel to it, and you have a boss fight with Poison Ivy. So, you have to lure Poison Ivy by destroying her plants and fighting a few enemies, but she remains invincible until you destroy the final plant, and I thought this was a clever approach to defeating the boss. A Poison Appointment has everything you need of a level: stunning environment, solid puzzles, and a great boss fight. At number 6 is Stealing the Show. Now while I think chapter 2 of the villain missions is the weakest chapter in the entire game, Stealing the Show is an amazing level. It follows the same formula as There She Goes Again, where you are on the rooftops with Penguin and Catwoman, and Catwoman's abilities are shown to great effect, such as how she gets a whip and drags enemies to her. It's too good. The level even has a boss battle with the police helicopter, which makes the level quite fun, and is the best boss in all the villain missions, even if all you are doing is stepping on a button. The final area is why this level is so high up. When you get inside the museum, you get to control a dinosaur, which is incredible, especially as you go about destroying everything in your path. It's so cool. The puzzles are also great, and it does showcase why Penguin's bombs are much better than Batman's, as they can go through these hatches, which just adds another layer. Stealing the Show is a great level and is the best level in Chapter 2. At number 5 is On the Rocks. Now if you've seen my previous LEGO Batman videos, you will know how much I love Mr. Freeze, and this level captures him to perfection. Going around picking enemies and chucking them around alongside freezing them is so much fun. The level has some good puzzles, especially when you have to freeze the platforms or use Riddler to mind control the poor workers. The Ice Cream Factory is a fantastic environment in both the hero and villain levels. The final section is pretty good as well, when you have to fight the police while mind controlling the guards. While it's not as iconic as the hero level, On the Rocks stands out as you get to play as Mr. Freeze. What more could you want? At number 4 is one of my favourite levels in LEGO Batman, an Icy Reception. This level is among the iconic in the game, as you have to enter the Ice Cream Factory with tons of enemies for you to fight. We are introduced to Batman's glide suit and Robin's magnet suit, which have both remained part of the LEGO Batman games. They are both utilised really well throughout, and the environment is incredible, along with really good co-op play. And who can forget the boss battle with Mr. Freeze? So you have to hit Mr. Freeze a few times, but avoid his freeze gun, because if he hits you, it's deadly. And whenever I think of LEGO Batman, I always enjoy coming back to play this level, and Icy Reception remains iconic in LEGO Batman, the video game. So my top 3 could go in any order, but I've chosen at number 3 to go with the Face Off. The outside section is pretty solid with Gotham in the background as you make your way to the bank while fighting off tons of enemies, but the main highlight is when you get inside, where we have the boss battle with Two-Face and Riddler, and I must say, this is an incredible boss battle. So you start by fighting Two-Face, who floods the area with toxins, and after hitting him, you have to build a boat using Robin's vacuum suit, where he runs into the vault. You have to avoid the traps on the floor, so you can get inside to finish the fight with Two-Face, before facing the Riddler. And this really stands out for me, as the boss battles in LEGO Batman are super creative, and this one has a lot of layers. So once you've defeated Two-Face, you take on the Riddler by deflecting the laser at him, who then brings Two-Face into the fight once again. And for me, this boss fight alone makes the Face Off an incredible level. At number 2 is Zoo's Company. Now while Chapter 2 of the Hero Missions is the weakest out of the 3, Zoo's Company really does shine above all the others. And similar to the last entry, it has tons of layers to it. The level starts in this snowy environment and seeing all the animals is fun. Not to forget, you can even ride them, which already puts this level high up. I love how the environment changes from the snow into this tropical jungle. This change of scenery is most impressive. Not to forget the boss battle with Man-Bat is incredible, and who can forget that jump scare of a cutscene. What makes this boss so good is that you have to use Man-Bat's weakness against him by building a gramophone in order to get him to the ground, which is such a creative way to fight a boss and something we do not see in LEGO games, and I'm glad we got it here. Zoo's Company is another iconic level in this game, but there can be only one. And at number 1, the best level in LEGO Batman the video game is In the Dark Knight. This level improves greatly on making the streets of Gotham look like a dreary place to live, from the opening section to the back alley, with tons of enemies throughout. But the highlight of this level is when you enter the nightclub. The puzzles here are done really well, but what makes this area stand out is of course the iconic dance floor, where you get to control the giant robot and just look at its dance moves. The final boss fight with Killer Moth completes this level to perfection by following the same pattern as Man-Bat, so you have to turn on the light bulb to lure Killer Moth by using Batman's demolition suit and Robin's technology suit. It may sound cliche, but it works so well for this boss, and it is great that Killer Moth takes the spotlight. In the Dark Knight has everything: dark atmosphere, fun puzzles, great platforms, and an iconic boss fight to finish. There is no doubt In the Dark Knight is the best level in LEGO Batman, the video game. So that was my ranking of every level in LEGO Batman, the video game. Do let me know in the comments which level is your favourite, and if you've enjoyed today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want more LEGO content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you all very soon.